went extinct, so it would be silly to think these puny house cats could survive an avalanche. This is the DNVR Avalanche pregame show. Let's get it rolling.
It is the Toyota Lounge and the DNVR pregame show presented by Coors Light. High above the very festive and busy DNVR bar on York and Colfax, it is Nick Gizmondi, Gizmo, alongside Nathan Rudolph-Rudo, and of course our amazing and wonderful, talented, lovely producer, Tiffany Hernandez. Tiff, hanging out with you here today, getting you all set for an early game if you're in the mountains, as the Colorado Avalanche are set to take on the defending Stanley Cup champion, the Florida Panthers, who are also a little bit feral right now, if you want to talk about cats, after having a tough couple of games.
Yeah.
They definitely are going to come out with both barrels. We're going to talk about all that coming up right now. Glad to have you along with us. Of course, the bar popping, as you can hear behind us. Excited for a good game tonight. It is a East Coast swing, but when we say riding the wave, they're definitely in beach weather right now.
No kidding.
Miami to Tampa is not a bad way to spend the week before Thanksgiving.
It's relatively warm here, too, today.
Golf today.
There you go.
I played golf today.
In Colorado in November. It is supposed to be like 30 the rest of the week.
Yeah,
but,
I'm well aware that the
you had to
end,
get it in.
yeah, the end of my golf season in Colorado was today. But it was great. But I was at my favorite place on earth over there at Cherry Creek and had a great time. Got out, and now I'm ready for hockey.
Let's do it. I hope the Avs are ready for hockey too. I'll put it to you that way.
Well, let's talk about that. And I mean, listen, we'll talk a little bit later on the importance of where this team starts. But Let's pick it up right away, because this is you have to respect the defending Stanley Cup champion.
Of course.
No matter where you are at in your season, they're obviously going to bring a different element to it.
Yeah.
We'll get to your stats in a second, but this is a battle of the forward depth of the Florida Panthers and the defensive depth, because they do have it on the Colorado Avalanche.
They do.
I will preface that with unaware of exactly what the defensive lineup is tonight.
True.
So, we'll get a look at that, buddy, but let's just talk a little bit about how those two opposing forces match up in Miami.
Yeah. As much as I love the Avs forward core, and I do think the Avs at the very high end of their forward core have the higher end talent, Florida's forward core is not only very good, but it's very deep. The Avs have a second line that is starting to find their footing a little bit. You feel like it's starting to come together. And you look at their third and fourth lines, and they're fine. They're perfectly respectable lines, but they're not as deep as Florida is when it comes to their forward core. Yeah. So you need your stars to win that battle, but you also need your defense to win that battle. Florida lost multiple quality defenders over last offseason. They still have a bunch of great guys, but they're lacking a Brandon Montour. They're lacking some of that offensive punch that their D-core used to have. You need the Avs D-core to be better on both ends of the puck. One, to shut down their forward depth where you feel like Florida should win that battle, but two, to help the Avs contribute offensively, because that's when the Avs are clicking at their best, when their defense is, their secondary scoring is probably more their defense than their forward core, if we're being honest about it.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, you want contributions from more than just Makar and Taves on that first line.
Absolutely.
I think that you can get a little bit on that second with Manson and Girard. And then Malinsky is the guy on that third pairing that is truthfully going to be the one that finishes. But I'm telling you, Dahan is the one that has sparked and given the creativity to Malinsky, because that's who he's most comfortable with.
Yeah, I mean, Look, Gerard, I think you can reasonably expect a good game out of. He's been up and down some this season. But frankly, if there's a night where you need more out of Josh Manson, it's tonight. He has to step up and play some better hockey for this team. Against the defending champs, you need everybody to come. That includes Manson. That includes whatever your third pairing ends up being tonight. Look, you can get away with some stuff against a team like Washington, against a team like Seattle. Pick a team. This is a very good hockey team. You can't take bad penalties late in the game if you have a lead. You can't make stupid mistakes, give up multiple breakaways. A team as good as Florida is going to burn you if you make those mistakes. I don't care if it's your 60 or your first D. You can't be making those types of mistakes and expect to win against a team like Florida.
Well, and again, we're going to talk about it here shortly, but the start is so key for these guys.
Yep.
Probably should have moved that up. That's on me, but we'll talk about what these guys are facing and how they need to do it. Georgiev, most assuredly the starter, which is fine. He played great last game. Maybe not great. Maybe great's too strong of a word.
I'd give it great.
Okay, all right. He did his job and put them in the best possible spot to come away with a victory. So I love that about him. He's going to need to be sharp again tonight.
Look, the past 4 or 5 games for Georgiev have proven he still has it in him. He can still do it. Now it's about finding that consistency. And look, consistency is a long frame thing. If he plays well for the next month, you get into late December, then you start feeling consistent about him. But it's about putting feathers in your cap as a goaltender with the Avs right now. And beating the Stanley Cup defending champs, be a pretty nice feather to slip into that cap.
And he talked about it in his post-press conference last game, said he was figuring some things out. It never had anything to do with his physical ability. It was
it's all mental
stuff, the 6 inches between his ears, that led to the physical mistakes. So he's a sound goaltender. He's just got to kind of get his head around things. Tiff, let's take a look at the stats that Rudo has pulled up for this game tonight. We got bets coming up for you later, too. We'll talk about that. I took some off-the-wall stuff, but here's the stat line from Rudo coming into this one, my man.
Yeah, so this was actually really interesting because these two teams, their underlying numbers are extremely similar this year. I mean, we're talking 1/10, 2/10 of a point difference when it comes to things like expected production, expected goals against, even their 5-on-5 play as a whole, extremely similar. Special teams, the Avs a little bit better on the power play, but Florida a little bit better on the penalty kill. Results-wise, even when it comes to faceoffs, Florida's also bad at those. These two teams are very, very similar this year. The only difference is the Avs possess the puck a little bit more, they get a little bit more volume, and Florida has been a little bit more efficient. They shoot a little bit higher percentage, and they have a little bit better save percentage than the Avs do this year. So the Avs are going to need to do a good job of controlling the play tonight and not giving up too much to Florida. But really, if both teams play at a decent level, I think we're going to see a really good hockey game.
Yeah, they match up. The numbers certainly align, and I think you give the edge to the Colorado Avalanche. I mean, it is National Gabriel Landeskog Day. I mean,
some days that feels like every day.
Yeah, perfect specimen of a human and a hockey player. Has his birthday today, so you got to play really good for him, of course, on the big day. And there's a lot of other little elements that will come into play, and that's where we tap our man, Big E, who has the 3 keys for this one tonight. Eric, what do you got?
Big E's 3 keys. Avalanche against the Stanley Cup champs, Florida Panthers. Key number 1, keep up the winning ways. Hey, it starts with great goaltending. Georgiev was awesome last game. We need more of that. We need everybody to rally behind that. Play the game that's in front of you. If you got to grease it up like last game and win it 2-1, so be it. You know, play what's thrown at you. Obviously, you want to establish your identity, but if the game unfolds that way, then so be it. We all know the Avalanche can do that, can play any way the opposition wants them to play. Build confidence as a team, and obviously, Florida's lost 4 out of 5, so you got to make sure that you're ready for their intensity. They're going to be a little bit angry having lost 4 out of 5. Key number 2, establish a forecheck early. early. Very important to pin them down in their D zone. You don't want them to feel good about their game in the offensive zone. So you're going to need second, third chances, not just one and dones on the rush and then the puck's out. So you want to make sure you have a strong F3 because Florida can strike at any moment if your F3 is sleeping in the offensive zone. Key number 3, own the boards in the defensive zone. Florida's a team that likes to hard rim it all the time, meaning that they like to dump it in around the boards. Make sure that you are firm and you are solid and you win those 50-50 battles right there on those puck pursuits. And you make sure you're in great communication with their centerman, your centerman, to make sure that it can be just a quick out off of the dump in, which can be very effective to get out of there. Florida thrives on dumping it in and then establishing a forecheck. Don't let them do it. Florida Panthers of the Stanley Cup chance is a great measuring stick for the Avalanche tonight. Let's make sure that we have fun. Everybody rallies behind great goaltending, and let's go. Let's go, Avs.
All righty, thanks so much. I hear we have some special guests. Obviously back in Boston right now. Some special guests helping us out with the intermission wrap-ups today. I'm excited and interested to see how that goes. So make sure you're following us on Twitter for that. But as always on game day, we have our Hockey in the Rockies with myself and Big E. And Eric, anytime you're facing the defending Stanley Cup champion, there's a gravitas to it. There's a special feeling to it. There's a measuring stick, if you will.
Boys, I tell you, you do. You want to show up the team that won the cup the year before, and you want to measure yourself. It's just the way it is. And I think when you watch hockey, and a lot of people don't even watch because they're so frustrated that they lost, that they are not there in the finals. For example, in June when the cup was awarded to the Florida Panthers. But the one thing you do in the summer, you're training, and you're like, you know what? We're better than those guys. We could have beaten those guys. We would have given those guys a better go at it, or whatever you want. So when the season starts, like this year, you're in November, and you're facing those guys right away. Of course you want to. You want to show them up. You want to make sure that you tell them, you know what? We don't play you guys a lot. You guys are on the other side, but we're for real. And if we ever have to find you guys in the playoffs again, it would be awesome. That means that would be in the Stanley Cup Finals, and we would give you a go. That's for sure. So, of course, yeah, you want to have your best effort, your best game when you are playing the defending Stanley Cup champs.
Buddy, a lot has been talked about in terms of getting depth scoring from this hockey team. Of course, we know that your top six is contributing in a big way. McKinnon having an incredible season. Obviously, we've seen incredible production from Makar on the defensive side. Rantanen has been doing very well also. It's been good across the board for them. But some chemistry starting to form on that bottom six. I really do love the way that Wood played. I really like the way that Covey is playing. Parker Kelly has looked good as well. Just how big is that chemistry with those bottom six guys and that starting to get going a little bit, and how important that find is, if you will?
Yeah, when you're starting to feel it, I mean, those guys, I don't care if you call them the third, fourth line, whatever it is, but you got Parker Kelly, a very smart player. The puck didn't go in till, 2 games ago, but always plays the right way. Very smart player, blocks shots, knows what to do, doesn't think he's a first-line player. Then you got Woody that brings all the speed, the chaos, the tenacity, and that Kovalenko that's got a lot more game, so to speak, in his game, meaning that he can make plays. He can play maybe higher in the lineup if it was anywhere else in the National Hockey League. But you know what? Those three, you mix them together, you start to get a little bit of chemistry the last few games. You're getting results. You're getting a few goals here, a few games in a row. That gives you a big boost to the rest of the team. It gives a big boost to the rest of the coaching staff. As a goalie, that gives you a boost. You're like, all right, the fellas are bringing it again. We know we're going to get one. We're going to grease one out, and then your power play is going to get one. And your first line is going to get one. So right there, you're at 3 goals. You should be enough to win a game, right? So, yeah, those guys are starting to gel together. It's fun to watch. The chemistry is there. Now it's how far can they take it? Why not be tagged as the best fourth line or whatever you want to call that in hockey, bottom six line in hockey. Why not? They've had a great start together. Keep it up. It's a massive, massive, massive advantage for the Avalanche.
All right, good stuff, E. We thank you so very much. Obviously, great having you, even when you're not here with us. We'll, of course, have more from Eric Lacroix in the post-game show. We teased it quite a little bit here, Rudo, but now we're talking about what the test is tonight. Anytime you're measuring up against the defending Stanley Cup champion, you have to bring your game. Certainly a sticking point for this hockey club over the last, 20 games has been very poor starts. The NHL is a smart league.
Yep.
They are doing their homework. They are calling their people. They know that is where you can kill the Colorado Avalanche.
Yep.
They know that Georgiev, even though he had a really great game last game, is still shaky and doesn't have his full confidence back. So for me, the first 2 minutes of this hockey game, and then 5 and then 10, those are the measuring sticks I'm looking for from the Avalanche. They have to be sharp in those 2 5-10 increments.
100%. Look, the Avs were this team a couple years ago. They know everybody brings the A game against the Stanley Cup defending champs. They need to be the opposite side of that tonight. They need to come up and show it out. I don't really believe in the whole play a full 60 thing. That's a myth. You can only play a full 60 if the other team doesn't show up.
Nobody has a perfect game.
Right.
I was told once when I was learning how to broadcast, one of my producers was a rock star, a legend. His brother was Al Michaels, and David Michaels called me into his office once, and he says, the minute you have a perfect show, he goes, go ahead and quit.
Yep.
And I said, okay. And he goes, you know how long I've been doing this? Like, I don't know. He goes, I've been doing this for 50 years. I go, okay. He goes, never had a perfect show.
Yep.
So, listen, you're not going to have a full 60. You can try, but you'll have lapses. But in my opinion, you can't have lapses in the first 5 minutes.
Not only in the first 5 minutes, but, hey, you're going to have ups and downs to the game. You cannot play an entire period down.
No.
And the Avs have done that in the first period far too many times this season. So have a good first 10. Even if you have a minute or 2 or 5 that aren't the best in the first period, don't let it extend out to 10, 15 minutes. You have to keep the lows contained, and you have to be able to play well. And if you start out right, it makes your entire life so much easier. Against a good team, you put yourself in holes, you probably lose. That's just the reality of the NHL. It's too hard to come back consistently in this league. The Avs are one of the best teams in the world at coming back, and they still regularly struggle to actually pull it off. So you have to at least go even in the first period. It's the road. I'm not going to say they need to win it, but you cannot lose the first period against this team.
Is that confirmed, Tiffany? No changes to the lineup?
There you go. The more you know. Okay. Is what it is. Like I said, I don't care if it's your 6D or your first D. Your D's going to have to show up and play well tonight. Tell you this too.
Can I get a shot right now and also go to commercial break to scream?
You can do one of those things.
Uh-huh.
What the Avs are going to need, though, is their second line tonight.
Yeah.
Obviously, the defense needs to do their part, but the second line needs to keep up, too. We talked about the quality Florida forward depth. Jonathan Drouin got a point the other night off of the stupidest goal of all time. Mikko passed off of a defender's skate into the net. You need real hockey plays from your second line. You need Val Nichushkin to start playing more effective offensive hockey. I think he was okay the other night. Looked a little bit better as locked in defensively. He's always been a very good defensive forward, but offensive production from your second line remains a sticking point for me. You've gotten good out of Middlestat, but you need more. You just need more from guys like Val, from guys like Lucky, from guys like Nichushkin. We're 20 games into the season now. The good process is no longer enough. You're at the point where your good process has to give you good results. Good process, bad results is now actively a detriment to your season. There's no more excuse of the early portion of the season where you're working into things. No, you have to start winning games, process or not.
I could not agree with you more. The excuses are gone. Randy, I don't like the lineup, specifically defensively. And, No, I do not. I'll leave it at that.
I think we have an idea as to why they're doing it.
I know why they're doing it. And it's fine, but whatever. It is what it is. I'll move on from that. This team has all the tools, sans at the current moment that one guy that could potentially change it. We got to figure out where he's at health-wise, obviously. But, yeah, I mean, you got to rock and roll. You got to rock and roll right now.
Yep, it's time.
I mean, yeah, you can't. And then, listen, even so much so is that, Drouin and Wood and Lehkonen and Nichushkin, you were hurt. You took a lot of time to get back. God bless you. I'm glad you did. But now you got to go.
And don't let.
And I thought Wood and Drouin have been playing well. I thought Lehkonen's been playing good.
No, I agree. But playing well and doing what for you? Cheap assists from Drouin, cool, but make quality plays that result to points. Lehkonen, start finishing, bud. You've thrown a lot of pucks right into the goalie that maybe should have been goals.
Yeah.
Already talked about Val, but look, the other part of this is, he mentioned it in his keys, Florida's lost 4 of their last 5. Don't be the get-right team for Florida. You've won 5 of your last 6. It feels like you've kind of turned the corner on your season if you're the Avs. Keep that going. I've said it the last 3 times they've tried to push the mark over 500. Put that in the rearview mirror. Stop talking about a team just above 500 and put that behind you. Go be a quality team. Go put yourself squarely in the top 3 of the Central Division. Go be the Avs that you were supposed to be from the start of the season.
And again, you have cornered a feral cat here tonight, so you're I mean you're putting these guys are not. You're the defending Stanley Cup champion. You don't want to start racking up losses.
Don't sleep on it. They lost to Chicago the other night.
Right.
You know how the Avs look when they lose to a bad team.
Right.
They try to come out pretty strong the next night. They usually have that turnaround game. Don't think Florida isn't going to come out hot.
Well, I know Paul Maurice well, all the way back to the Ontario Hockey League days when he was with the Plymouth Whalers. That is a man who
get a little fired up.
He will motivate that room. He will motivate that room, and they better have a fast start tonight if you're the Florida Panthers. Otherwise, it's going to be yikes.
Agreed. The reality of defending a Stanley Cup is it's one of the hardest things to do. But being in that position is a privilege. It means you are a very good hockey team. I think the Avs are also a very good hockey team. I'm hoping for a really good game tonight. I expect it, but that does come down to the Avs showing up and showing how good they can be as a team, because Florida will. You already know there are too many talented players to be an easy out. So you're going to need, I don't know if I want to say the A game, because both teams might bring the B+ game or whatever it is, but you're not going to get away with one like you kind of did against Washington the other night, like you have a few times this year. There's going to be nothing easy about this one for the Avs. So,
and then not an easy one when you get set to take on Tampa Bay.
True. Yep, it doesn't get easier.
Yeah, no. See what's going on in the Toyota chat. No, Dahan is not hurt. Yes, Mark, I would agree with your previous comment. And Steven, I disagree with yours. How about that? Big E still not feeling 100%, but he's going to rally and jump on board with us for the post-game show. So hopefully he'll be okay. He's a tough guy.
A gallon of Mucinex and he's good to go.
Yeah, he'll be all right. He'll be all right. Let's get to your bets real quick, and then we'll talk a little bit more about this game in the lead-up, as we just have a few to go. But Bet365, who are never ordinary, helping us out a little bit here, bud.
Yeah, the pregame picks, it's going to be a tough game because the Avs are even money. This team almost never sees a plus next to the amount for them to win on the money line. So you can get positive money on the Avs to win. You might want to take it. Talked about the defense a little bit. If the Avs are going to win, you probably need a goal out of your defense. I'm taking Cale Makar to score at plus 375. And then I talked about that second line needing to get going. Let's see Middlestat help feed some of those guys, get them on the board. A Middlestat assist is plus 155 tonight. 3 different single bets you could get in on with Bet365 on the Avs. All plus money. Why not splash a little bit? Or you can take the crazy parlays that Giz takes with like 800 goal scorers in them or whatever
Pulling
they
it
are.
up right now. It's not 800 goal scores.
Just 3.
I try to bet like $10 a night, and if they hit, they hit, and it's fun, and it gives me something to watch. But I took Pasta to score a goal against the Red Wings. That seems legit.
The Pasta one I'm not worried about. It's the
Okay.
other one, yeah.
Forsberg scoring a goal against Winnipeg might be the one
Yeah.
that burns me there.
Yeah.
I didn't really look at that. Eichel scoring against Montreal, I feel is
Pretty good, yeah.
good. I got Mac scoring a goal tonight for the good guys.
Yep.
Crosby scoring against Utah seems like it's happened.
He fought the other night, so he should be pretty angry.
And then Brady Tkachuk finding one tonight against Vancouver might be tricky.
Yeah, Vancouver defense pretty solid. But who knows? It's hockey, baby. Sometimes goalies fall apart. I could use Max shooting the puck a little bit more, though. Give me that one. You might get there.
You think he shoots the puck tonight against the defending Stanley Cup champion?
He's got to. He has to, right? At a certain point, even his line mates are going to look at him and go, Mac, shoot. What are we doing?
Well, I gotta know that conversation has happened on the bench. They're like, boys, let's go.
And again, I love Arturi Lehkonen. I think he's a perfect piece for the Avs lineup. When you have Nathan McKinnon on the ice, Arturi Lehkonen should not be your trigger man. He should not be the guy shooting pucks. He's not the guy who has that great shot. And McKinnon isn't the best shooter in the world, but he's a better shooter than Arturi Lehkonen is.
Yeah.
Lecky's supposed to have the good stick on rebounds. He's supposed to have the good stick on deflections. Someone else has to shoot the puck to create those things for him. That's Nathan McKinnon's job.
Do we have a good Lecky shirt by
We
chance?
might have a
Tiff?
good stick Lecky
Is there a
shirt.
good stick Lecky shirt that exists? Because it sounds like what you're telling me is that Lecky needs to have a good stick in order to be successful. And is Black Friday not coming up just around the corner? It is.
I can't reveal anything, but pretty good deals. Word on the street from DNVR. Pretty good deals.
You can get some DNVR merch, including this good stick Lecky shirt.
He's pretty good with his stick.
And if you want to get ahead of it, you can get that for free if you sign up to become a diehard. And if you haven't done that, you should probably be doing that. Make sure you're subscribing, liking, and following across the board. Lots of comments in the chat about the defense. No way did I see this becoming a bigger topic than the goaltending at this point, but we'll see what happens. I would say that that some of you are on the right track with where I think this is heading. I really do not have the insight, and it's really even harder for me when the team is on the road to sort of kind of, ascertain exactly where the thinking is and pick up on the vibes. But next couple days should be interesting.
I think the Avs are not icing their best lineup, and I think they know that. Think about why the reasons a team might do that.
That's what I would say. What do we, you want to go wild here? Tiff, you want to get in on this? What do we think about score prediction tonight? Let's go. Rudo, I'll let Tiff think about it a second. What do we think here tonight? They're due. I will caveat it with this, and I don't think it happens tonight. They are due. The Avalanche are due for a very, dam-breaking offensive
My first thought was a 4-3 overtime game.
Oh,
so
wow. Okay.
that's what I'm going with.
4-3 Avs overtime?
A team will win the game.
All righty. I'm going to go... Tiff, I'll go you first. You go first.
I'm on the same track as Randy, 4-2.
4-2. Yeah, I was kind of thinking like 5-3 Avs with an empty netter.
I'd take that all day.
All right, here, let's write this down.
Got to
All right.
keep track, keep score.
Giz said, I said 5, what did I say, 5-3? Rudo, what'd you go with?
4-3 OT.
Rudo, 4-3 OT. Tiff, what do you got? 4-2. All right. Maybe we'll start doing this game-wise, and you know what? Maybe we'll start having points.
Can't wait to end the season with 0 points.
And then if you get the extra point is if you call an overtime or a game winner. Ooh, that could be fun. Could we do a standings board, Tip, with you on that too?
It actually
All right. We're going to think about that. 6-5 Avs. I like that one a lot. All right. Puck drop is coming up in just a few minutes. We're going to get set up for the watch along. We'll have that for you. Post game also. Any last thoughts?
You want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
Big time measuring stick tonight in South Florida. Early game if you're in the mountains and you love that. The DNVR bar hopping, cranking, having fun. If you are in the area, come on down to Colfax, New York. Hang out with us. Mention that you're here. We'll come say hello. Puck drop is coming up in just moments. Rudo and I, as well as Tiff, will have the watch along for you. Thank you for watching the DNVR Avs pregame presented by Coors Light.